but not today. As she walked toward the sound, she gripped the handle of the digger tight enough to turn her knuckles ghost white. The sun was in the midst of its lazy ascent, casting long shadows that transformed the forest floor into a checkerboard of irregular shapes. Moving through them was like traversing a maze, only the walls were figments of her imagination. Maybe that's all it is, she tried to convince herself. The addled mind of an old woman, nothing more. Then the smell attacked. Her nostrils furled in revolt as the odor invaded her airways, and her free hand shot to her face, covering her nose and mouth. But it was too late. The sickly sweet, fetid aroma was inside her now and impossible to escape. A deer, she assured herself. One that took a bad shot from a poacher and survived long enough to run off, only to die soon thereafter. It wouldn't be the first time she'd found such a scene in these woods, and it wouldn't be the last either. As she reached the edge of the ravine and peered into the abyss, she could see nothing but a labyrinth of kudzu. The crooked vines had overtaken the ground, turning it into an ocean of green. Underneath the vegetation, an invisible creek babbled. A person could disappear in there, Abigail thought, never to be seen again. A caw echoed above her, interrupting her speculation. She stared up and saw 4 buzzards circling, gliding black silhouettes patrolling the cobalt sky. Nature's garbage men, her father had always called the birds, and she smiled at both the memory and the man she'd lost more than 5 decades prior. Abigail decided she didn't need to go any further. The smell and the buzzards were proof enough. She'd spent enough time worrying over nothing. It was time to return to the harvest. She turned away from the gully, took 1 step forward, and attempted a second. But her trailing foot caught in an exposed tree root, and the sudden impediment dropped her aged body to the dirt. Her knee collided with a rock, sending a lightning bolt up her leg. She jerked back, away from the pain, but that was a mistake. She felt herself tumbling backward but was unable to slow, let alone stop, her descent. On her 3rd reverse somersault, she felt something tear in her ankle. Another burst of misery. And still, she was falling. Thoughts of dying in this little seen patch of the planet rolled through her head as her body bounced and ricocheted 3 more times. And then she landed in a soft, wet pile of death. Abigail was alive, but whatever she had fallen into was not. The aroma from the top of the hill was a summer bouquet compared to the revolting redolence that had nearly swallowed her up. A squadron of flies dive-bombed her face, angry over her sudden appearance. She swatted them away, trying to right herself, trying to get her bearings. Abigail planted her right hand on the ground, but it wasn't the ground at all. Her palm sunk into something dense and moist and warm. She didn't want to know what the source of this terrible, foreign feeling could be, but she was in it, wrist deep. Turning a blind eye would solve nothing. When Abigail looked toward her hand, she realized it was buried in a rotting torso. Not that of a deer, but of a person. She retracted her arm, but the body protested, and her hand came free with a hungry, sucking sound. Abigail wiped her palm against the ground, desperate to cleanse herself of the gore. During her frantic gesticulations, she saw the face to which the body belonged. And then she screamed. Chapter 2. Mornings were always terrible, and this one was no exception. Carolina laid face down on the mattress, trying to ignore her cramping stomach. The thin sheet that covered her stuck to her clammy skin like a second layer of flesh. Through squinted eyes, she found daylight invading the dirty windows of the panel van. For the last few months,